So we discussed about the sexual reproduction in humans, that is in our case. So we studied the characteristics by which we can decide, we can identify that we are able to produce the reproductive cells. So once you confirm that you are able to produce reproductive cells, then do you think you can reproduce, you can produce babies? So what is the time when you can start produce babies? What are the various issues related to that? During the phase of puberty, adolescence, your sexual secondary characters may develop, your organs get ready to produce sexual cells, reproductive cells. It doesn't mean that you are totally ready to produce young ones. You are not completely ready to reproduce babies. Because it is the initiation, the starting phase of the reproductive system, the development. Initially it produces the reproductive cells. But the reproductive organs, they are to be completely matured. It needs some time. And what are the other issues? Your mind also must be matured to produce young ones, babies. There is a difference between dogs and cats producing babies and humans producing babies. Because humans are social animals, dogs and cats are not. We have social responsibility. If you are able to produce young ones or babies, what are the social issues? Will you be able to raise them? So these are the different issues that are to be decided, discussed. So it doesn't mean that by acquiring the ability of producing reproductive cells, it doesn't mean that we are ready to reproduce. So everyone needs some age for the complete maturation of the reproductive system, for the complete maturation of their mind, ideas, thoughts, decisions. So then you are ready to reproduce. So here there are many issues linked up, there are many pressures. Sometimes there may be a force from your peer group, your friends, your neighbors, and sometimes you may be forced to participate in sexual acts, but you need to know various factors that are linked up with that having a sexual act or to have an attempt to reproduce. So you need to be aware of all these things before you make an attempt to reproduce or before you make to have a sexual intercourse. So these are very essential. You may be observing even some governments, okay, some people are achieved their sexual maturity, mental maturity, they got some age of some 24, 25 years of age. They got some good jobs, employment. So they have earnings. Even though they produce the babies, they can raise them. Even then, such cases also the government makes some announcements, don't give birth to many babies. Limit your children to 1 or 2. Why government makes such statements? There is pressure from the government. The government order all the doctors to make family planning operations to control the population. It shows that humans are the social animals. If we bring the new population into the society, we should be able to provide all the amenities to the people who are coming, the population, the generations which are coming. So we have social responsibility. We all have to look about the social elements also, as we are a social animal. So simply by attaining sexual maturity, we cannot reproduce and produce the babies as like other animals. Moreover, there are many issues linked up with the other issues linked up with the reproduction. The second most important part here is STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases means there are so many diseases which transmit by having a sexual intercourse. So if you have an attempt of having a sexual intercourse with a stranger, you don't know about the person. In such case, some diseases may pass from the person. Syphilis, gonorrhea, warts, most importantly HIV. These are transferred by sexual contact. So if you have unprotected sex with the people, with the strangers you don't know, of course anyway, if you, even though you know the person for few days, you don't know what is his health status, health condition. You don't know how much infections he has in his blood. He might be infected with HIV, he might be infected with some other syphilis or gonorrhea. Surely that infection transmits. So these are cureless diseases, life-threatening diseases. So in the expectation of some pleasure or fun, if you attempt such sexual intercourse with somebody there, if you attempt an unprotected sex, you will be the victim of these kind of diseases. So it is a very serious issue which should be properly judged, or thinking should be done. Without any thinking, by the force of your friends or somebody else's, if you do that there, you will be in a very big problem. So sexually transmitted diseases are the major problem here by having unprotected sex. Here, to avoid this, is there any prevention? Yes. Here the preventive measures are using physical barriers like condoms. It is a physical barrier which is worn on the penis. So by that, the fluids in the male and female body are not in contact. So there is no transmission of virus. It can give you protection. So in this way, prevention of these sexually transmitted diseases can be done by using the physical barriers like condoms. And the next thing, birth control. So if you attempt for a sexual act, sexual intercourse with other gender, that means if you participate in a sexual act with another person, there is a chance of pregnancy. Before we discussed it, the male gamete fuses with female gamete. So there is a chance of pregnancy. Sometimes this pregnancy is unwanted. When it is unwanted? The married couple, the couple who are married, they don't want children. Then they don't want this pregnancy. So this is unwanted. And even the two strangers who participate in sexual intercourse, pregnancy is unwanted. And already we discussed that with an immature reproductive system, a female child gets the pregnancy, it affects her body, her mental status, everything adversely. It badly affects her body, both physically and mentally, when she attains pregnancy in an unmatured state. So to avoid that unwanted pregnancy, we can use contraceptives. So there are methods by which we can avoid pregnancy. To avoid pregnancy, methods are using hormone pills, tablets or drugs. So these tablets or the pills, it will control the maturation or fertilization of the egg with the sperm. So these pills are to be taken orally. Definitely they have so many side effects and spoil our body. So this is a prevention method. It doesn't show that yes, you can do whatever you like by using this. Because taking chemicals or drugs into our body, surely they will have side effect on our body. It just indicates that yes, there is a prevention, it shows. It doesn't mean that you have all the options and you can commit whatever you like. It doesn't mean that. Right? So pills and physical barriers like condoms. See, the condoms, they prevent sexually transmitted diseases sometimes, as well as the pregnancy also. So pregnancy is also avoided by wearing the condoms. So they assure you the protection from being pregnant, at the same time from the transmission of sexually transmitted diseases. But here one more point, the usage of these pills or the usage of these condoms also must be known. If not, there may be a problem still exist. So these contraceptives also fail. Sometimes the pills, if they are not taken in a proper way, they may fail. And I already told you there will be some side effects. If the barriers are also not used properly, they may fail. They are made out of some material called as latex, they may tear. In such cases also there is a chance of infection. So that is the second thing, and there are some physical barriers like loops, copper T. Copper T means it is a physical barrier which is fixed in the uterus of the female. So we cannot think any of these methods are excellent and extraordinary and problemless methods. There is a problem associated with each and every method here we discussed here. But these are the options. So copper T means they will place a barrier in the uterus which will prevent the fertilization of sperm and egg cell. But it will cause irritation and infections in the uterus of females. And the other method most widely used for the married couples is that loops. Once they have children, 1 children or 2 children, they wanted to go for family planning. That means they don't want any more children. In such cases, their reproductive tubes, we have seen that there is vast difference in males. So the vast difference they will cut and they will tie a loop. So by the sperm cells which are formed, the sperm cells they cannot pass into the female reproductive system. So the ducts which carry the cells are cut and looped. This is done by a minor surgery. This is a less problematic one. If it is done in males, you call it as vasectomy. In females, if the fallopian tubule is cut and it is tied, it is called as tubectomy in females, and in males it is called as vasectomy. So by this method, surgical methods, we can avoid pregnancy. So avoidance of pregnancy is mostly used and accepted in case of when they go for family planning. So it is accepted in case of family planning. They have children, they don't want any more children. Or the couple, the married couple, they haven't planned yet their life, so they need some time for the pregnancy. In such cases, that is used. So these are the various options for the birth control. And next thing, sex determination. Sex determination means finding out whether the baby is male or female before the baby is born. So the technology enables us to scan to know how the internal parts are there. So whether the doctors are able to know whether the baby is male or female. But once this is known out, some of the people, those who have bad intention in their mind, bad ideas about the male and female genders, those who have discrimination in their minds, once if they come to know that the baby which is growing inside the mother womb is a female, they are attempting abortions, killing of the fetus. It is called as feticide, female feticides. Many of the female children are killed like that in the past 10 years. So by the female population has gradually gone down. The males are more in society compared to females, which is causing a very big problem now. It is because of the bad assumption that female children are a burden to the parents. So that was a very wrong and faulty assumption by the people. So this discrimination led to the female feticides. So that is the reason why the government has banned sex determination. Doctor should not tell whether the baby is male or female to the patient. If they do so, that is a crime. The doctor will be arrested, and the people who attempted that, they also will be arrested against law. It is to control or prevent the female feticide. So when the fetus is growing up, when the embryo is formed, that also can be removed by a surgical process called as abortion. Sometimes when an unwanted pregnancy is done, the pregnancy is initiated, if it has to be removed, that is done by abortion. That is a surgical method. But whatever the methods here we discussed here, that is for the birth control, that can be followed by the people, those who have started their life as a couple, getting married and started their life as a couple, then as a part of their life, with all the other social issues, they can take the choices. But as an individual, as an immature person, to make use of these things, you must be completely aware of each and every consequence, not only technical, not only health related. You should be able to know the social consequences also before you commit any act. So that is very important. So the next one is overpopulation. So by the process of reproduction, the population increases. So why this process is there in the living organisms, in the humans? Why the living organisms should reproduce? There is a lot of population. Many people, many socialists say that The overpopulation is the main reason for all the problems now. The population is growing up on the planet. That is the main problem for all these things. All the people are not able to get the basic amenities, and no one is, all the people are not able to live comfortably. But in the view of science, you say that, okay, yes, reproduction is a natural ability of the organism. Every organism wanted to perpetuate its race. See, in your family, your grandfather, grandmother, they wanted to continue their race. They wanted to continue their vamsam. In the same way, every species, every animal wanted to continue its species. Tiger wanted to continue its species. Humans wanted to continue their species, develop their species. It is a part. You can see the other social aspect also. The overpopulation may not be a problem if there is no discrimination, high and low, if there is no distribution of indiscriminate distribution of money, circulation of money between the people, higher social status, low social status. So various issues. So whatever it may be, so the overpopulation is also a problem. It is identified that can be controlled by birth control methods that is suggested by the government. So by that, the government also able to produce basic amenities and all the things to the people. And even the people also must have the social responsibility, social idea, social consciousness, health consciousness, everything, all these aspects in mind before they commit the reproduction or they commit the sexual intercourse or whatever so.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.